Good afternoon, and welcome to another perplexing episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your perspicacious and pernicious host, Voice of Doom. Hello. Alright, I figured I'd do a diatribe because some weird things are going on lately and I think everybody sees it. But we just want to go on with our lives hoping that everything will remain normal, more or less, and we can continue having to go to work to make money in order to pay bills. And keep that going ad infinitum. But, yeah, it is a bit depressing. But, things have been going on, and I've been looking at stuff on YouTube and thinking, well, people are acting very strange. I mean, more strange than just gets exponentially worse. Doesn't matter who's president as far as the decline and fall of the human species, because it's just we're at odds with each other. We're so entrenched, we're so tribal in two distinct tribes that we're destroying ourselves literally in front of our eyes. You can see it. Because, I mean, why are people banding together against the immigration control enforcement or whatever the hell they are? I mean, it was bad enough when you allow so many people to come in willy-nilly. We don't know who they are, where they're coming from, what their intentions are, how much they have, or if they have anything. And then pay billions to keep them, sustain them, so they're not starving out on the street. And then spend billions sending them back home. And then it's the worst of the worst that we're going after. And it's like, fine, go after the worst of the worst, but people are going to get swept up. They won't necessarily be all murderers, but they will be people who rob and pillage and bully and are just more or less, blights on society, so get rid of them. They're still on the planet, so it really doesn't solve anything. But I think we're seeing a real regression of humankind. When you look at the people in the prisons, their tattooed faces. You look at girls in Japan with tattooed faces. Things are strange because I see people and they're like, just people that you wouldn't expect, saying, go after ICE and their children. And you look at the guy and it's like some urbanite, person of color who I don't see why they're suddenly so passionately interested. Unless they've been brainwashed into thinking that ICE represents the oppression of the Mr. Man, Mr. Bobo, the government. ICE represents the oppression, and we have to nip it in the bud. That's what they're thinking, I guess. But it's just anarchy everywhere. I mean, they're looting with impunity now. They're taking out the high-end places where there's not going to be any businesses in LA. How can there be when they keep getting looted? I mean, wholesale looting, taking everything. It's like total anarchy. Law and order has been stretched too thin because we're working against each other. It doesn't help to maintain law and order when half of the good people that aren't breaking laws decide to break laws or impede the arrest of the bad people. So something weird's going on. Something really strange is going on, and we can all see it. It's happening more now. Now that Petri Dish is gone and his madness is being swept into the dustbin of history, we have a new era of utter absolute madness. Now they're seeding the clouds, and they've admitted it. It has nothing to do with the flood that just swept away hundreds of people. I mean, it's kind of a freak thing, and I think we're seeing more and more freak things, weather-wise and otherwise. So I going to work today, and they have me working like 6 days, 7 days in a row, then 1 day off, and then 6 more days in a row. And I don't think I can do that many shifts. I hate giving one up. It's like admitting I can't do it. But there's no shame in that. If these young kids can take the day off because they feel like going up to the lake with their buddies, then I should be able to give up a shift or two when they got me working like 13 out of 14 days. I can't keep doing that. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think I'm that good, and I'm not that good because the place is just too much chaos for me. And yet they have me on all these days. But the point of me saying I'm going to work is that I still think that, I guess, civilization will survive for a few more weeks. So I better keep on working and not just say, I think I'll just say it's over and stop, because I'll be wrong and then feel stupid later. But I really think we're heading toward the abyss because there's too many weird things, and we can't get anywhere if we're fighting against each other. I mean, it's good versus evil, and then half of the good wants to help the evil, and then they end up being evil. So it's a weird thing. I guess evil's winning out. It is probably the tribulation. I think when I was imagining the tribulation when I was a kid reading Revelation, it's kind of like what we're looking at. Maybe a few more, explosions going on all over the place, but I mean, things are exploding. They're not exploding in Carson City right now. And when they do start exploding in Carson City, then we know that we are truly in the throes of the apocalypse, which is the opening of the eyes, which will be good and bad, but it may be cataclysmic. But this weather thing, rivers, seeding, people inexplicably wanting to go after ice and stop that from happening and impede in every way possible, including ambushing, including out and out full frontal military action by anarchists. It can't bode well, and it'll probably seep out to the more bucolic, the more provincial areas like Carson City, where my illegal types will be forced, like what happened to me when during Christmas season in LA back in the 90s, there was too much crime going on in the Wilshire district, so they closed it off, and it forced all the criminals to go elsewhere, and that's when I got mugged in Hollywood, where there weren't that many muggers, but they were forced. So the illegal criminals will be forced to come to the more rural areas and wreak havoc there. And I don't want to see that happen, because it would be too easy to victimize me, because I really have no, defense. Just faith that they won't come after me first. But I just think some weird things are going on. Something is going on. And it is the depopulation that I've been railing about. And I don't think it's going to happen en masse anymore. It's going to happen 120 people at a time in Texas. And a few hundred people over here and a few hundred people over there. Not just, in this country, but globally. Catastrophes taking out people. Come up with a pandemic now and then just to, accelerate the process. But I think these guys in the powerful sector are thinking about their own legacy and the fact that they are not, their life, they're not immortal. So they're going to want to speed things up to make things comfortable for themselves while they're still living. So I'm thinking it'll happen soon. I can see the world's gone totally mad. Much worse than it was 2 years ago, even with Petrie in office. The world's gone totally mad. I don't know why people care. It doesn't help that I'm reading Dean Koontz's Jane Hawk series. And I plan on finishing that epic story. Just his kind of reply to The Dark Tower. King writes 3,000 pages, and Koontz writes about, probably 2,500, telling a story about how the government uses nanotechnology to control people's minds because they want a more orderly, less populated world, and the people they want on the world will be compliant. Kind of like Brave New World. But so I'm reading that. That doesn't help because I get paranoid when I read Dean Koontz's novels. So that doesn't help at all. But still, it's happening in front of our eyes, so I can't say that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I see people for no reason hating ice. I see weather being manipulated and flooding, and I see fires, and we'll see what happens. But I'll leave you on that cheery note. I think people should take heed and think about being ready just in case they are holed up in their house for a few months. Okay, I'll leave it there. I didn't say much, but just get this off my chest, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good afternoon. Bye.